Hi, Professor Matt. It's Tara Faulkner. You get to put a face and voice with the work that I've submitted this semester. I wish I could say the same. I was on campus today, and I was at the graduate thing, and I didn't have time to look for you. But since you keep office hours at 5 in the morning, I figured that I would probably have missed you around 3 p.m. anyway. But anyway, so this week's reading was very long, and I found it very interesting. While I was reading through all this, I couldn't help but think of The Matrix. I felt like I was reading the notes that the writer of The Matrix made while he was writing the movie or before he did. So that's kind of my mind frame, my mindset while I'm reading this. But anyway, you ask if we could expect for artificial intelligence to be friendly to humans. I don't think there's an easy answer to that, as there is no easy answer or correct answer to any of this. But when we, as daily, weekly, monthly, there are people, programmers out there who are continually evolving electronics and the intelligence of machines. It takes me back to the time when NASA was working on the shuttle, the initial shuttle that they sent to the moon, or were wanting to send to the moon, did send to the moon. And they had all these mathematicians and physicists and things like that trying to work through these mathematical calculations, and they finally brought in the big IBM computer that took up, an enormous amount of space. But the point of it was so that it could compute this information faster than humans could. So, it started long ago. And from then, we've already come this far. So, with that being said, I think that whether or not these beings or creations, the artificial intelligence, are going to be friendly or not is going to be dependent on who programs them, who creates them. In America today, we have all kinds of different politicians. We have Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and, everybody in between. And even now we have a really hard time agreeing on one thing. We have different groups that agree on different things. So how are we going to determine who's going to make the decisions as to what is programmed into the artificial intelligence? We can't have God, who's supposed to be a perfect being, program these, who is all moral and all good. We're humans. We all have different moral values. We all have different agendas. You could get somebody in there who had the right idea, who really just wanted to create a friendly artificial intelligence that was going to benefit humans. And then you could get somebody, on the other hand, who wanted to create this for evil. Maybe so that the United States could go to war with another country or some such thing as that. So I don't know that we would be able to expect it. I think that we could try to program them to be nice, but and friendly to us, but then again, as they evolve, if they're smarter than us, and then they continue to grow upon themselves and get more intelligent, then they talk about developing a conscience and autonomy. So if they do that, then we kind of lose control of them. And like the video said that the student had submitted that you posted, showed the pictures of, us stepping on an ant. When does it come to the point where they find us a nuisance or that we're invaluable and they don't need us anymore? So they decide to destroy us and go on and do whatever they want. So, it's hard to say if they will become self-interested. But to quote some things from the reading, we've got Hume says that he advocated a view on which value is independent of rationality. A system might be as intelligent and rational as one likes, while having arbitrary values. By contrast, Kant advocated a view on which values are not independent of rationality. Some values are more rational than others. It says, if Kant's view is correct, this may have significant consequences for the singularity. If intelligence and rationality are sufficiently correlated, and if rationality constrains values, then intelligence will constrain values instead. If so, then a sufficiently intelligent system might reject the values of its predecessors. Like I had mentioned, if they become so intelligent that they decide that they don't need us anymore, well, then that's pretty negative for us. It continues on. A negative consequence is that it will be harder for us to constrain the values of a later system. A positive consequence is that more intelligent systems might have better values. It's like it's kind of like trying to create a human, a person with how do you do that? We raise children and we can't get our children to do exactly what we ask them to do. So we can program these things to do what we want them to do, but if they're going to grow up, and continue to make themselves smarter, version 1, version 2, whatever, we can look at it as children growing up and developing their own ideas. You just can't control that. Okay. Towards the end of the article, optimistically considers the possibility of uploading our identities along with consciousness into machines and computers. I know that I wouldn't want to live forever. I don't think that it was meant for us to be eternal beings. I don't think that it was meant for us to be cryogenically frozen and then brought back to life later when the ability became available. So I don't know that I think that it's a good idea that we would, store our brains somewhere and later on download our brains onto a computer, because after a while, if this continued to happen, there would be no humans, because there's only so many humans, and it mentioned that they wouldn't want to have to worry about regular things, relationships, sexual dysfunction, and all this other kind of stuff. So they could just take that out of their data bank. If they continue to do that, then we would eventually have no humans, and we would be living in the Matrix. I don't like it. I don't think that it's a good idea. So yeah, like I've said, some of the interesting points, again, who's going to decide how to program these things? If there was a perfect device, then we're going to become more lazy than we already are. I mean, we've already got, we can call in and get our groceries delivered to our car. It's just going to be even more laziness, in my opinion. Do I think that it would be possible to coexist? maybe, but trying to coexist with artificial intelligence by making our own brains artificially intelligent to get on the same level as them, it just seems like life wouldn't be worth living anymore. So that's kind of my take on that. This is my first ever video, so I'm a little scatterbrained. I tried to get everything in. That's why I like writing. I can edit it more, and I can kind of go over a little bit, which I probably have on this video. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll do it again. Thanks. Bye-bye.